Hi guys, thanks for tuning into the channel, and today I want to swing to something different. It's a little bit rainy and windy out there today, but not much we can do about that. But this may be a little bit more entertaining for you, and we'll see how things go. So we're here today to do a little bit of unboxing on a new motorcycle I've just bought. And over the past few years I've gone through quite a lot of new motorcycles, but nothing into this calibre. So without further ado, I'll just pan back and you can have a look at the new bike. Tell me what you think at a later date. So there she is, guys. She's in that box there right in front of us. So all I better do now is get in, grab a utility knife. We'll slice her open, go through the unboxing process, show you what's in there, and we'll see what we get for value for money. And speaking of value for money, I just purchased this one off eBay about 5 to 7 days ago, and I'm not referring to the Bullet 500 into the background. That cost a bit more, but what's in the box. And I got it for around about $369, I think it was. Yeah, $370, and that included postage. So I'm hoping that I've gotten the money's worth out of this little package, and we'll be able to see how it goes. And while you're at it, I've never really dropped down to something as powerful as this, and I'm sort of a bit excited about getting on something like this and giving it a bit of a burn. So if you're thinking about subscribing to my channel, well, this might be just a one-off one at this stage with a bike of this calibre, but you'll see more larger bikes come along, you know, anything up to 500 odd cc's or better. Like I said, never tested anything like this one, so we'll get in there, grab that utility knife, rip it apart, see what we get for the money, and hopefully you'll enjoy the content of what comes up during this video clip. So back shortly. Okay guys, let's open her up. Got myself the knife. Just see what we got on the package. Let's get the knife out of the way in case one of us gets cut. Ta-da! Well, look what we got here. Looks like to me quite a bit of work. Nothing there, just packing. Got my racing number on it, and the colour scheme is, it appears, black with red striping. Side covers. Well, we'll bring her out and see how she looks. Whoa! So there we go. How's that look, Phil?
Looks good.
Enough to scare the sausage stuff?
Okay. Daisy, go over there. Daisy, look. Look.
I don't know what you think, Julie, but I think I'll have to assemble the front wheel if we're going to ride it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's classed as a mono bike.
I love the color.
I think I'll just have to put all the goods there with it. There's the kit out of the box, so let's go through it. Now what I'm really excited about is, look at this, number here, 96. Well, that won't appeal to some, but if you reverse that around to 69, that's exactly my age this year, so I reckon this is a perfect toy for me to get out there and give it a run as I head towards the big 7-0. So I think this will be the bike to break all records. So after we look at the bike, like so, we have a quick look at the accessories. We've got the bearing there for the front, which looks okay. Those side covers, possibly not Honda quality, but you know, still okay for the money. So that looks okay. Then we swing down here. We've got these couple of nice foot pegs. I don't know how they'd go in the corners because they're not the ones I'm really used to, but I don't think they had that much give in them. They look more like what you'd get on a tricycle. A large assortment of bolts, nuts, washers, including a actually I think a screwdriver. But that's alright, got all that. Quite a few of them in there. A great little front wheel including front disc, and by the way this has got front and rear disc brakes. A little mini fly screen at the front and the mudguard, and more importantly I've got this, I think it's a 7-page instruction book with great graphics on it. Look at that. And when you go through the instruction book, there's not, this is the key, there's not one page in English. So this will be a fly-by ride, so it'll be just a matter of there was a fair bit of assembly too by the looks of it, because why else would they put 7 pages? Or they'd say anyone in the English speaking country really does need it anyway, and they can put it together, because no doubt they've probably had larger bikes and this would be a pushover, so it may happen or may not. So that's in the kit, that's the bike, and look at it up against that Bullet 500. I tell you what, for the price, looks pretty good. Actually I've never had one with drop bars like that and the racing stripes on it, so I'd say this one will be pretty quick. In fact, I'd be saying later on when I go out and do this test run, just to be safe, I think I might bring out my Helite airbag jacket and wear it on this one, just in case it gets away from me and I do something silly and in the corner. And probably while I at it, when I come out and we do this test run, I think I'll bring out my Skydio 2 drone and we'll actually record how this bike runs. That's providing it does run alright. We'll probably go out along one of the back roads and I'll put the drone up with the jacket on and we'll test ride it down the road and just see what I can get out of it. And the best thing about this one, I can just take it out in the car, put it in the boot. What I should say, I shouldn't get too far ahead first, so I've got to assemble it, put it together, see how it kicks over, what sort of a note it throws out. And I hope to put 3 or 4 videos together on this one to see how things go. So I'll get into this one and do a bit of assembly and we'll be back to you on that. Okay guys, a few specs on the bike now. So the first one would be, some people have asked me roughly prior to getting this bike, what's the seat height on it? So to give you an idea, when you put your leg up against it, it'll come up to about here. So a rough idea, I would say seat height would be just below knee level. Now wheels on this particular bike, I think it's running 19-inch front, 18-inch rear, there they are there. It's also running disc brakes front and rear, but unfortunately for this one and in this price range, it's only, well actually there's no ABS. So in most bikes, like you get ABS or you get single or dual channel ABS, but I don't think this is compliance for Australia, so there's no ABS, so you know you wouldn't be able to get it registered or anything like that. And also there's no traction control. It's a 49cc 2-stroke motor and it's got a 4-valve head on it, which probably is one of the first 4-valve heads to appear on one of these pocket bikes. Well actually this is an SPB or Super Pocket bike, so it's really the upgraded version. So I'm really here testing the first of them. So apart from that, I think from memory I was told it puts out almost 40 brake horsepower with 29 Newton meters of torque. So it would be fairly quick off the mark, so that'd be another good thing with this particular bike. So I reckon it'll really get going. I'm not sure what sort of a fuel injection system it's running. It could be the Japanese version, I'm not sure. But more importantly, and this was a big ask and a big spend, when I knew I was actually buying one of these bikes, I purchased this Powertronic ECU piggyback to put on this bike. And there's that piggyback unit, all the wiring harness and stuff like that. Best of all, I've got a 2-speed switchable map. Now, if this idea doesn't work with this bike, I don't know, I think there's also the option, and I've done this in cars, but I could try it on this one too. I might go for the idea of doing a maybe a small turbo and put on it and just see how that performs. That'll be something different there I'll try too. So these are things down the pipeline I'm going to try on this bike, and see how it performs, but I reckon this one here, it's also running, if you notice there, sports exhaust. And what will surprise you, or what I've been told anyway, but we'll see when we get to the stage and kick it over, this one here is supposed to have a really good note to it. It's got a really deep bang for your buck, you could say. So that'll be something when we get to the stage and I kick it over, you'll be able to see, and hopefully I'll be able to kick it over in the second video, because this is dragging on a little bit and I don't actually know how long it's going to take to assemble the bike, so I'll get it back to the assembly side now. Just thought I'd fill you in on the details and performance parts. It's raining outside again, so it's too cold to work outside, so I'm going to get onto it here inside. I allow myself sort of 3 days now to put this bike together, because there's a fair bit involved. I was contacted, or I actually made a call to 2 or 3 of the local motorcycle dealers and discussed what they'd charge to assemble this bike, and they ranged in prices from around about $23.50 to $26. And I thought, it sounded a little bit on the steep side, and I said, is that with the bike fully running? They said, no, that's with a dry start. And I said, what do you mean by a dry start? Well, that's a bike that hasn't been kicked over with any gas in it. If you want it properly started and idling away, the price went up to $30, and then if you want it tuned after that, it'd go to $32 plus GST. So I thought, rather than go to that trouble, I would just work on this bike myself, give myself 3 days to put it together. And I'm using protection on the bike too, in case anyone's wondering. And after that, well, today I'm hoping to get into it, sort out those nuts and bolts which were in the packet, see where they go. And then while I'm at it, I might see if I can fit the wheel and get that out of the way too, so we'll see what happens. Well, that was a bit of a challenge, and I think about an hour and a half it took me to get this out of the way, but looking at it now, we've got in a kit, 1 plug spanner, hex wrench, and a really good quality open-end spanner. Not bad. In fact, if I do any work later on one of the cars, I think I'll try this one, because it's more like really good precision there, I'd say, in the bite. And once again, a nice screwdriver. So we've got that out of the way. I also managed to, because I didn't fool around, I got right into this job, I managed to fit the nuts on these bolts here. So how many we got there? About 3, 6, 7, I don't know, 12 or 15 of those, whatever. Separated these 4 here, put the nuts on those, and I think that's going to go around the windscreen area. So, because that's the only place I could find that had 4 holes on the area, so I'd naturally think that could go there. I've got these half a dozen bolts here with no nuts on them at all, so I don't know, they could be spares or they could be missing nuts, I'm not sure. Now, this one here is a good one. Now, I don't know if they put this one in there to go on the bike itself, or it's a spare in case something's going on, you're working on your car or your bike, and you lose something and you've got a spare nut there to put on it. So if that's the case, that's pretty good of it, because that's all included in the kit. Then we get over here and we've got 3 sort of flat brackets. Now, I don't know what these would be for at this stage, but I guess when I start assembling it, we'll find out on that. But so overall, that was what's in that plastic bag. Pretty happy with the amount of work I've done there. I think I might have a coffee now, and then I may have a crack at hitting that, fitting that front wheel, which I think I might have to get the wife to help me with that one, because it could be a challenge lifting this bike up and I need a little bit of assistance. So we'll get back to that after the coffee break. Okay guys, really firing now. Almost got this mudguard in place. I think it looks pretty good too. That as last resort, I'll give this front wheel in the bearing side there a good grease. Also the axle, because I had trouble getting the axle into the wheel, so I'm hoping with the bit of a grease on both areas, plus that rubber mallet, I should be able to force the wheel in place and then lock her in position. Oh well, that was a bit of a challenge, but finally get the wheel on position, so it is actually spinning, so it's being greased, so it's probably free up a little bit more once it's tightened. That's about it for today. I think I've had a pretty good run and fair effort, so tomorrow it'll be a new day and I can get back into it again. So, hi guys, thanks for tuning in. This is part 2 or day 2 of the assembly of this little 50cc mini bike, or actually 49cc mini bike. I'm definitely outside the day after yesterday because I got a bit of grease on the floor in there, and wife sort of complained about that a bit. I'm outside now working on it regardless. She doesn't want any mess from this bike brought back inside the house, so we're out here. Tell you what, starting to take shape too. Look at that, look at those sporty wheels on it. Just hard to believe when you look at those wheels. They don't even look like they're a 19-inch front and 18-inch back, but it's a bit deceiving on this camera. I should have had a GoPro to show you a bit better look and get in a bit closer, but this one here gives you a bit of an idea. But like all things, when you're out there riding motorbikes all the time and you're taking cameras in, you're going up hills, and whether you've got a GoPro or another style of camera, you can never tell a camera angle. And this is just like when you look at these tyres. You just look at those and they look small, but I think it's just an illusion, you know, that they are 19-inch front, 18-inch rear. But anyway, we won't worry about that one. And today I'm planning on going in the mods. I think I'll go foot pegs first, and the reason being, this foot peg here seems nicely shaped. You know, you got a shaft coming out here with an area to fit your foot peg. I don't know about this one, but it looks a little bit distorted, so I would say damaged in transit. So I think I'll fit the foot pegs, then I'll maybe get back to the front fairing and put that screen in place and just see how it goes. But I'll tell you what, it's looking, well, it's really looking like it's going to be a little rocket, I reckon. What do you think of that? And look at the paint job. And look at that, the sun's just come out too. But I don't think it'll be for long because it was just raining a short while back. But we'll get into it now. I had to straighten this one here. It was bent on this particular side, so that's been rectified now. Didn't take long, about 15-20 minutes, and I'm now ready to fit the foot pegs. Okay, so everything's a nice precision fit, and we'll just get the pin in. Like so. There we go, foot peg locked in position. Foot pegs in place now, so just fitting this fly screen. Pretty easy done, 10 minutes job. So that's out of the way now. I think next up we'll tighten the levers. Okay guys, just on the finishing touches, putting on the fairing. Looks good. Swing it around the other side. Okay, that's nice and tight. Okay guys, after several hours, and I've been here now probably 4 or 5, I finally got the mini fly screen on, we've got the foot pegs on, I've got the fairing fitted. It was fairly involved. You've got 2 bolts either side here on that part of the fairing, and underneath you've got 6. That's where those bits of metal plating ran underneath. Only problems at the moment, seems a little bit frozen on the rear disc and also on the front, so I'll have to do a little bit of adjustment there. We also have to do a chain adjustment. This is a really tight chain, so I can't take it out with this. There's just no movement there, so I'll be doing the chain adjustment. But apart from that, all is good. I thought it'd take 3 days to assemble this bike, but I've got it down now to a neat 2. So I think on the next clip it'll be ready to kick over. So I'll push it over now and we'll have a bit of a summary up on the bike. Okay guys, that concludes part 1 of the building this little mini bike, and I'd have to say, really, in all seriousness now, it really was a bit of a pain in the tail to put together. I had a fair lot of trouble putting on the front wheel, and there were a lot of troubles there fitting the spacer and actually getting it in, and the front axle, almost like it was extremely tight fitting, even though a greasy axle, and the other parts of that area to slide that wheel in, it was just a in the end rubber hammer to belt it through. So then I found out that after that the disc brakes aren't what you call crash hot, and they sort of catch in there in the front, and then right at the back here, same sort of thing there, apart from the heavily over tightened chain from factory. So like I'll be giving this a kick over maybe on the next clip, see how it goes. So if you want to subscribe and see what happens, or come back and take a look, by all means too. I really don't know how this will go for the price. It might go, it might not. See if I can get out 3 or 4 clips on it before I start riding now the new bike, which is about to arrive. Like I said, Monday, and I've got to get into it and do what I have to on this bike quick, because early next week I think we're expecting 3 days of snow. But overall, I think appearance wise this looks the part, and whether it runs all right will be a different thing, but you know, I've never had anything to do with these sort of bikes before, so it's just to play around, see what happens, and we'll go from there. But I hope you found this bit of a clip a bit on the entertaining side compared to other things, and I'll catch up on the next one when we'll kick her over and just see what this beast sounds like. And once again, hope you enjoyed, or it filled in a little bit of time for you. All the best for your weekend, and I'll catch you on the next clip.